Hey everybody, it's Lavender Town, and today I'm going to let you in on a secret. I'm going to talk about the good kind of art stealing, not like art theft or tracing or anything that makes the original artist really sad, but the kind of stealing that all artists kind of do, where you take things from different parts of the world and you combine them to make something really original, and it can help you draw a lot faster and a lot better. So my plan is I'm going to steal a pose, I'm going to steal a background, and I'm going to steal a color palette. And it might just start with taking one of my anime figurines. But first, a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, Amino. Now, I've talked to you guys about Amino before, but for those of you who don't know, Amino is an app that is based around communities that center around different things you might be into. There's creepy stuff, cute stuff, and a whole lot of art. One of which is simply called the Art Amino, and it's one of my favorites. One of the best things about the Art Amino is it's not just full of people making great art, but they also usually show you the step-by-step process, or at least like the inking layer that they used, and I find that really cool. Seeing the actual process of how people build their art is one of the best ways to learn from each other, and it's just awesome. I love seeing the process. Also, I found this really cool picture of a Megalodon on there, and I'm a big fan of the Megalodon, so that was a happy surprise. I'm actually going to be doing an AMA on the Art Amino, so if you've ever wanted to ask me a question directly, now is a good time. You can start leaving your questions now, and I'm going to answer them starting on Monday at 8 p.m. PST. So go ahead and check out Amino. It's in the pinned comment below and in the description, and all you have to do is search art and you'll find the Art Amino. Thank you again to Amino for all the support. So the first step to this whole project is selecting a human-shaped toy of some kind. I'm using an anime figurine, but you can use any kind of doll or action figure that you might have lying around. Hold it up against a white wall so you can clearly see the shape of it and the silhouette, and then use your phone camera to get a good perspective shot. Take a lot of different pictures so that you have a lot of options when it gets to the next part. Phone cameras are great for this because phone cameras typically have some pretty strong perspective warping, which can make for a much more dramatic image. Next, we're going to need a background, so I take to The Sims. Any version of The Sims will do, though I recommend the Sims 3 or The Sims 4 because it allows for more movement of the camera. I have the hardest time with interior backgrounds, like, inside of rooms and stuff, because I always mess up the perspective. But if you have The Sims, you can just make the room that you want to draw, and then you can take all kinds of different angles and shots of it to get lots of reference pictures of what you want to draw. It just makes things a lot easier. You can also use SketchUp if you don't have The Sims, but SketchUp is a bit harder to use, though it is completely free. The good thing about The Sims is they already have a bunch of preloaded like fridges and countertops and sofas and things, so you don't have to model that yourself. So now that we have our background and our pose, I'm going to first take the pose that I like, and I'm basically just going to redline all the key areas of it. So I'm following where her spine would be, I'm circling around her head, and just getting a really rough outline of her whole body and posture. Then I'm going to overlay this over top of one of my screenshots of The Sims, and I'm going to go over with a blue line over all the main details of the background. I'm trying not to trace it exactly because I don't want it to look traced. Basically, you just want to do this for the sketch stage, and then you have to stop tracing altogether. Otherwise, it's going to look really obvious that you took this from some kind of previous photo or something like that. So now that we have this sketch, I'm going to sketch over it again and basically just give it my own style and make it my own character again, so it doesn't look like you traced a figurine. So I'm also going to take the outfit from a Forever 21 catalog. Basically, I just looked around for outfit inspirations and I directly took a hat and a dress, so that literally every part of this drawing would be taken from elsewhere. So now that she has her cute little outfit, I also gave her a little piece of toast just to make the image more cute and fun. I'm going to start inking it. You could also go over a couple more sketch passes if you're not happy with it yet, especially of the background. I didn't do an additional sketch pass of it, and I feel like I could make it even more original looking and cool looking if I added different things in the background. Some of the things I recommend changing is you can change windows to picture frames or vice versa. You can change the design of handles and things like that. Just make sure you're not too beholden to your source material. You're mainly just using this for perspective so that you can see how different objects will be changed as they move backwards and how to make sure that everything is perfectly in line. It just makes things a lot faster. You also want to make sure that any little sketchy details that you would usually add to your inking that you add to this background. Make sure not to get too stuck in the idea of just tracing the lines that you see. Like you can see on the fridge that I'm putting these little dashy lines on the edges of the fridge because that's something I would usually do if I was drawing an object like this. You got to make sure it still looks like a drawing. One of the best parts of using a Sims background is that you can take the background that you made, like the little room or whatever, and you can take lots of different pictures from different angles. So if you're doing like a comic or something like that, you'll be able to have perfect in perspective reference shots, and you won't have continuity errors where you're like moving the fridge in the wrong place and stuff. Like when you're trying to do it from your imagination, that is often an issue. Now, I'm a big fan of choosing my own color palettes, but in order to keep in the theme of the video, I decided to steal the color palettes, so I decided to steal a color palette from the Grand Budapest Hotel, Spirited Away, and the Birth of Venus. I wanted 3 different color palette options just to see what I was sort of feeling, and I ended up using the Grand Budapest Hotel as the lighting and the Birth of Venus as the flat color. I'm sad I didn't get to use the Spirited Away color palette at all, because it is very beautiful as well. So as I'm going in with the colors, I'm just trying to make the windows our dominant source of light. I thought that would be very moody and cool. And if you have trouble with lighting, you can also use the figurine to be a good example of any dramatic light. Just take a flashlight or something like that and shine it on your character. You can put them under the covers under your bed and take a flashlight, and then you will have one dominant source of light, and you can put it wherever you want, and that will really help you out. So as I'm doing all this lighting stuff, I'm just trying to remember the forms of everything, and you can look back on the Sims screenshot as well. Sims also has various lighting effects, so you can put in different lights or turn it night and day, and if that's something you have trouble with, that will help out as well. So I'm doing the flat colors now in these nice neutral tones that I plucked out of the Birth of Venus picture. At this point, I should probably say I don't recommend doing this for every drawing that you do. This is more of a good exercise. If you're someone like me who has trouble with perspective sometimes, has trouble with backgrounds, this is a really good way to get a handle on how all these things should be looking. And then when you try to do it from your head in the future, it should actually make you improve. Also, if you're in a pinch and you need to have something with a super luxurious background and you feel like your skills are not up to the task, this is a great way to circumvent that and just give yourself a bit of a boost. I also should mention that I'm using a figurine, and I recommend using toys and things like that because they already have interesting poses baked into them. While you can use like a drawing doll, like those weird little wooden ones, I find that they're not actually that helpful when it comes to drawing a pose because they don't have a pose in them. So if you're looking for fluid, dynamic, and interesting poses and you don't know how to make them, then having a drawing doll that comes completely as a blank slate doesn't help that much. The other good thing about using toys is that they actually usually have cartoony proportions already, and if you're drawing anime or cartoons or something that is stylized, this is actually closer to what you want than a more lifelike drawing doll. A lot of people think that if you get good at drawing realism, you'll suddenly be good at drawing cartoons and stylization, but I've seen time and time again that that's not true. I could do a whole video about how stylization is a skill in itself, but I'll save that for another time. So here is the finished product. I think it turned out pretty good, especially because it took me so much less time than it would have if I had tried to make this background out of my own head. And I also like how the pose turned out. If you don't have anime figurines, which I think a lot of people don't, you can always just go to the dollar store and get like a little action figure or something and just try to base it off of that. And if you're just using the main like spine and legs of the figurine, you can turn that G.I. Joe into whatever you want it to be. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope this is helpful and that you try it out. If you do test this out, I kind of want to see that. So definitely tag me if you put anything like that online. My Twitter and Instagram is in the description. Thank you again to Amino for sponsoring the video. There's a link in the description and in a comment that is pinned below if you want to check out my AMA. If you have any questions you want to ask me directly, this is a good time to do that. Thank you for watching till the end, and I will see you guys on Sunday. Big thank you to my patrons, including Scott Peterson, Christy Stewart, Payne Hamill, The Artsy Moose, Elizabeth Albin, Calpopone, Cameo Sparkle, Hanuki, Zixith, Ollie, Nekosama, Hope Chilsum, Abriana, Trasomaniac, Micah Dactyl, Okamore, Matthew Kunke, Blep, Sergeant Pendulum, Lena Christine, Baba Green, Taka, Lovely, Mystic, Enzo Jobert, Your Boy ST, JJ Jade, Lib Lib Blah, and Addy Visual.